What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of The Why with Dwyane Wade. Now, I wanted to start this podcast because I'm retired from basketball and I have nothing to do. That's the first lie I told. I have so many things going on and so many things to do, but I thought it would be very important for me, as someone who's curious and someone who wants to learn, to have an opportunity to learn from people that I admire. People that I feel like are GOATs of their sports, people that are GOATs in their field, but just people who have interesting, inspirational things going on in life. And so I'm used to being on that side, but now I'm on this side. And so I kind of get to control the conversations. And I want it to be exactly that. I don't want it to be interview. I want it to feel like a conversation, some with friends, some with people that you might see me googly eyed over or admire. But just really a conversation that goes back and forth about what it takes to be successful, about what motivated you, about what your dogs eat, anything that we want to cover. I want to be able to talk about it. So as you guys see behind me, I was able to have a lot of successes in life. And I highlight my 3 NBA trophies, not because I'm only a narcissist, but because when you understand what goes into winning one trophy, and then you get to see 2, you get to see 3, I think you have a little bit more respect for the individuals that are part of that team. And so hopefully some of these conversations that we have with some greats, some great minds, can give you a little bit more insight and a little bit more background on what it takes to have a trophy, and not just in sports, in life. How do you get to that level, that top level that we all try to find? So when I first went to my team and sat down and said, hey, I think I'm ready to start having conversations. I want to start my own podcast. I had an idea in my mind at the time of what the name was going to be. And my first name that I came up with was Pantheon. And I came up with Pantheon because I was like, I want to sit down with great minds. I want to sit down with GOATs and, the people who are at the top of what they do. And we went with that. In my first episode, I got a chance to sit down with those individuals that, to me, are pantheons. I got a chance to sit down with Dirk, Tony, Pau, at the Hall of Fame and talk about being a pantheon. But as I kept going, I started to think, I was like, man, I want this to be more conversation. And so I went with, you know what? How about Conversation with Dwyane Wade? That was my second name, A Conversation with Dwyane Wade. I was like, that's easy. That's point blank. That's period. But it didn't feel like enough. It didn't feel like something that I wanted this podcast to represent. And so we end up going with The Why with Dwyane Wade. And the reason it's called The Why is because my name is spelled Dwyane. But for some reason, no matter if I was in grade school or no matter if I was at the Hall of Fame, I still see my name spelled Dwyane. And so I want everybody to get the why right. But also, outside of that, I want to talk about your why. I want to talk about why you get up every day to do what you do. I want to get into people's reasoning and their why, and it goes all over the place. Sometimes my why is my family. Sometimes my why is because someone said something to me or they yelled something to me. Whatever your why is, I want to get to that. And so the Why podcast with Dwyane Wade, it fits not only everything that I've grown up dealing with the misspelling of my name and the misplacement of the why, but also really been intrigued to why we all do the things we do. Episode 1 was very special to me. We recorded it back in August, and it was the day before we were inducted into the Hall of Fame. As you guys understand and know about that time, it's an emotional time. You have all your family in town. It's a lot going on. And to be able to sit down and have this conversation with Tony Parker, Pau Gasol, and Dirk Nowitzki about our battles versus each other, about our family, about what makes us and what made us great, about what we're doing after the game, about those competition, those moments, whether we were talking about the Olympics in '08, whether we were talking about the '06 finals, and y'all know Dirk and I had to get a little personal on the '06 finals, or whether we were talking about just moments that we've watched as fans of each other. And also too, sharing moments about our brotherhoods throughout the NBA, not just on our team, but throughout the things that connects us. And so conversations that has never been discussed with athletes was discussed on the Wide Podcast. I really hope you guys enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did making it. Episode 1 of The Why with Dwyane Wade. It is Hall of Fame weekend. We are live at the Mohegan Sun, and I'm honored to be joined by 3 of the greatest players of all time. Claps, everybody. Thank you. 4-time NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 6-time NBA All-Star, Tony Parker. Welcome to the Pantheon.
Thank you.
2-time NBA champion, 6-time NBA All-Star, Pau Gasol. Welcome to the Pantheon.
Thank you.
14-time NBA All-Star, 6th on the NBA all-time scoring list, 1-time NBA champion. We'll get to that later. Dirk Nowitzki.
That doesn't sound
Welcome
Thank you.
to the Pantheon.
That doesn't sound good.
All right, fellas, let's get into this. As we sit here, we're 1 day away from getting those Hall of Fame jackets. Pau, I'll start with you first.
Okay.
What does this moment mean to you?
I guess it's a culmination, right? It's kind of like the icing on the cake, which, is crazy to think about. But to me, what's really special, basketball is a team sport. We wouldn't be here, if our teams that we were a part of, our teammates, our people around us didn't help us and do our job and perform at the highest level. So, to go together in a class with 4 guys, or 3 guys here, that my career has been very parallel to all of yours in a way. It's super special. Super special. I'm ready to put that. Hopefully, it will fit the jacket. To have my parents here. I wanted them to put that jacket on me. They brought me to this world, and that'll be very special. So just try to take it all in, as I told you earlier today on the golf course. Try to take it in, enjoy it, share it with amazing people. That we're tied forever at a higher level. I mean, this doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, Tony.
Kind of the same thing. Going through the process right now and writing the speech. It's been a crazy mix of emotion. I feel very nostalgic. I'm having my whole French mafia, they all came. I have a lot of people. So sorry for all the French people. But there's going to be a lot of them this weekend. They all flew, and just like to see all the love, all the people that supported me through my whole career, and to basically celebrate all together one more time. I feel like it's like I feel blessed. We've been watching old games and watching finals games, and it's funny to go through those memories again, and to be all together and to share that with them. That's very important to me. I'm like you, Pau. I'm very close to my family, close to my brothers, and everybody is here. And I have a lot of connection with all of you guys. Dirk, I went to your jersey retirement, and Pau, we played together in the Spain-France rivalry. D-Wade, we played twice in the finals. And I'm going to say it again. Can't believe you're the favorite player of my little brother, but it's okay. You know what I mean? But it's just been an unbelievable journey. And I feel very lucky to be here. And I've never thought somebody like me will experience something like the Hall of Fame. I dream about the NBA. I dreamt about being the first European point guard to make it in the NBA. But the Hall of Fame is a whole another level.
Yeah. So you've been watching old film to see how good you were? Is that
No, No, I just, no, I knew I was good, but I still get mad when I miss shots and teardrops. I was like, it's funny, like you watch games and like my dad, when he watch games, he's like a boxer, he's like moves like this, he watch the game and like, we can't do anything about this game.
Right.
Too
late. It happens
like,
already.
it happens already.
Definitely.
So it was funny though, to go through those feelings.
Definitely. Dirk?
Yeah, just super, super excited, super anxious now a little bit. The last few weeks were leading up to it. Now, I feel a little, at night I wake up, I got certain things go through my mind, I reflect, I got parts of my speech, that I'm trying to, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, and I can't sleep for an hour. So I'm ready to get this going, get this weekend going. Everybody's arriving today. I have a huge crew, huge family coming from Germany as well. So yeah, just excited really to get this going and have some fun with everybody that's here. And it's an honor. This is an amazing class, as all you guys said, and I'm so humbled to be a part of it. So let's get this started.
I know it's your show, D, but I have a question right away. I have a question. I'm sorry. Do you realize that you're a Hall of Famer? And if not, when do you think you're going to realize you're a Hall of Famer?
I think it's going to take a while to set in. I'm sure we all had a dream to play the game of basketball. We wanted to play it in the NBA because it was the best league. Our favorite players in America, for you guys, and here for me, were playing. And I was having a conversation with my father, and my father he was like, I always dreamed of my son going to the NBA, but I never dreamed of greatness. How do you dream of greatness? And to be able to sit here and to be here this weekend, like this is a level of greatness that I never imagined that I would be able to experience. And so, yeah, I'm like you guys. I've been going through all the emotions. I ain't even been sleeping. This speech has been the bane of my existence. Like, I can't wait to get this speech out the way so we can move on and have a good time. But never thought I'd be sitting here being called a Hall of Famer. So.
I feel like when I'm gonna walk the steps and be in front of you guys, then I'm really gonna realize, okay,
that's the moment.
I'm a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's the moment.
Like just walking those steps, it puts me back when I was like just drafted. You walk those steps and you just got drafted, and you're like, man, I'm going to the NBA. I got drafted. That's how I hope it will make the same feeling, when I walk those steps and become a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's when it gets real. That's when it gets real. All right, listen. So we started at the Hall of Fame. I want to take it back to the beginning. So young Dirk, who did young Dirk want to be?
Well, my first role model was my dad. He was a sports guy. He's played handball in Europe. So I started actually playing handball ever since I can remember. Then I played tennis. I was a decent tennis player, so I wanted to be like Boris Becker, Boom Boom Becker. You guys remember him? Legend. Shout out to my guy. And so those were some of my first sports heroes. And then I didn't start really basketball until I was about 12, 13, a little late. And then that was just around the 90s when Michael Jordan took over. And so I was diehard Bulls fan. Back in the days, there was no internet. You couldn't really catch that many games. So all the league was promoting was usually the Bulls. So we caught like 1 or 2 games live every once a week or twice a week. And it was usually the Bulls. So I was a diehard Pippen fan, loved his versatility. And loved MJ. I mean, he was the GOAT for me of all time. And then I was a diehard Chicago Bulls fan, and loved Charles Barkley later on too. He's actually the reason I played with number 11 when I started basketball, because my dad had 11 in handball. And then when I saw Charles in the '92 Olympics at number 14, I actually switched my number to 14 because I loved Charles as well. So those were some of my first idols when I got going.
So if I'm thinking about Charles Barkley game, I'm thinking athleticism. I'm thinking post up, banging people.
Not thinking about me.
Why Charles Barkley?
I don't know. I love this intensity, man. I loved. He was undersized, but what a beast, man.
He was a beast.
Unbelievable how he got it done there, and so explosive. I mean, I love watching athletic players, even though that wasn't really my game. But that was definitely something that caught my eye, and he was just so explosive. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was. Pau, who did young Pau want to be?
I think my guy growing up was Tony Kukoc. I was able to call him, and he accepted the honor to be my presenter. Growing up in Europe, he was the kind of the guy that stood out for me. He was very versatile, even though he was a lefty. I played small forward until I was 18, 19 years old because I was so skinny, and I felt more comfortable outside, and I didn't fully grow up to the 7'1" frame that I turned out to be. So Tony was, the guy. Obviously, then he went and joined the Bulls. The '92 Olympics had a big impact. He was the guy, the European guy, that was up and coming, and so he had. And then obviously the Bulls and MJ and all that also had an effect. But yeah, Tony was kind of like the guy that I wanted to emulate and kind of follow the steps, and inspired me to try to be another, or get to the NBA and follow that path.
Yeah, Tony, your dad is from Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. Chicago.
Chi-town.
So who did young Tony want to be?
So me, a little bit like you.
Yeah.
My favorite player was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
My dad's from Chicago. We were huge Bulls fans, and so I had posters of him. My room. I remember being 10 years old and being in Monaco, and I went to the game. The Dream Team. They played France for a friendly game before going to Barcelona for Olympics, and I was one of those kids who will go down and go watch it. France lost by 50, but
That's not bad. That's not bad.
it was my first time.
That's not bad. That was routine.
Yeah,
Right?
not too bad. And so I was just super excited to see my idol, and that's why I wear the number 9 because of Michael Jordan. At the time in Europe, you can only have numbers, for the 15, so you couldn't get 23. So I'd be pissed when I was a kid. I was like, why you can't get 23? Why that rule only 4 to 15? I didn't understand that rule, and I wanted 23. And so when he played in the Olympics and he had 9, I was like, oh, I'm going to play with 9.
Oh, you were good. You got to pick your number when you was young?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got thrown a jersey. You got a
I got
chance to
lucky.
pick.
I got lucky. But you're right. But that's why some of my jerseys is not 9,
growing
growing up, because then I was the little one. I was the rookie. So you can't choose your number.
Right,
So,
okay.
so some of my jerseys are not 9, but most of the time they were 9.
So we talk about Michael Jordan. Obviously, I think all of us, we grew up, we're roughly around the same age. So we grew up in the era of, who would probably be our GOAT. Who is the European GOAT? Tony, who would be the European GOAT for you? What was that player that you would look at and say, this is a European GOAT? Either when you were young or either now. Who is that person?
My European GOAT is Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay.
I think he's the European GOAT, Then it's very debatable with Pau, because Pau won so much, at the European level.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's true, D. I wish sometime Pau Gasol was not born. I would have won a lot more gold medals and a lot sooner. But to me, it's debatable, and what you take in consideration if you take the NBA or European. So I will go with 1A and 1B.
Okay.
And I say that sincerely, because no disrespect to the older guys, but when we all came, in the league, that was the first time that with Dirk and Pau, you had NBA franchises started to believe that we can have a European player as our franchise player. And Dirk was the first one to do that, like to be the franchise guy.
Yeah.
And then Pau with Kobe, then me with Timmy and Manu, and then now you have a lot of European guys who are their franchise guy. But Dirk paved that way for us as Europeans. My thing was to become the first European point guard, but franchise that's Dirk. And I'll see him like in front of him, like all the discussions every time we talk, with Europeans, like any interviews you'll see of me, I always say Dirk.
Dirk, you agree with that?
No, I'm not sure.
No, that's a tough question.
I appreciate it.
But Dirk, my question to you would not be if you agree if you're the GOAT, but what are your feelings on? I knew Tony was going to say that. By the way, I knew he was going to say he was the GOAT, and I knew he was going to say he was second. I don't know why. What do you guys feel about Giannis and Jokic and these young guys? Because to me, you guys are the first wave of European superstars. Not good players, not even great players, but superstar players. So what do you guys feel about, and I'm asking this question because in America, it's a different battle between the next GOAT, right? No one wants nobody to surpass them sometimes. How do you guys feel about this next wave of European players that are amazing players?
I'm actually more proud watching them, honestly. We all know records are there to be broken, and stuff always happens. Somebody always comes along who's better and does better things or does more, is more athletic. I mean, it just happens. That's life. So I'm actually proud watching these guys. I mean, I see Luka every day, the stuff he does, and he'll be in the conversation for a long, long time. What Giannis is doing.
Luka is no Dirk. No, sorry.
Really?
No.
He's well on his way. He's well on his way. He's well on his way.
He said he's well on his way.
He's well on his way. And then Jokic, what he's been doing in this league and dominating, and now he won his ring. So I'm proud watching these guys, and hopefully they can have amazing careers from here on out. And the whole GOAT debate is always tough, you know.
Yeah.
We go back and forth all the time. It's different eras. You know, I was a big Schrempf was one of my idols who had a great career. There was a Dražen Petrovic. You mentioned Kukoc. All these. Sabonis, actually, before he got hurt, was an unbelievable player. And unfortunately, he blew his knees out, and we never actually saw the best Sabonis. But he would have been maybe even the GOAT of Europe. So it's always tough. It's fun for debating, but unfortunately we'll never know. But it's amazing that I'm obviously we're all in this conversation, and that's already humbling to me.
Yeah, Tony, obviously Luka is very early in his career. We don't know what the end results would be, but why today do you say he's no Dirk? Why that?
Because for me to be in the conversation, you have to win a championship first.
Oh, well.
So that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I love GOAT debate. I have GOAT debates with my brothers, with my friends all the time.
Yeah.
It's like boat conversation. You know? It's like always like we're debating. And to me, because I won a championship, I'm like, if you don't understand what it takes to win a championship, I don't think you should be in the GOAT debate.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, what I would add to that is also, I think it's so much about the debating of who's the GOAT or who's, we have played in there are different eras. I think what we can be really proud of is that we raised the level. And I think that's what you want to do with your journey. You raise the bar.
Yeah.
And then somebody will say, hey, that's the bar. I want to raise it higher. Mm-hmm. Great. Keep raising it higher. And then as Dirk was saying, when you see these European players now, Luka, Giannis also has done incredibly well. You're proud to see that.
Proud, yeah.
I know you're proud to see that. You want him to the well. You want him to keep raising the bar. Hopefully, obviously Jokic has won the championship with the Nuggets. Giannis has won a championship with the Bucks. We'll see if Luka can do that with a lot of great players haven't won championships in this game. It's hard to win a championship, as Tony was saying. A lot of things have to come together. Yeah. Dirk has played many seasons. We played many seasons. He's won one. I won two. He's won four. It's hard, right? You have to have great teammates. Everything has to come together that season. So again, it's not so much about. It's about, have you done extraordinary? Have you raised the bar? Have you done your best? Have you inspired others? Have you opened doors? That's why I always give a little extra for the guys that came before us when things were not, so normal for European players to be in this league, to be respected, to fight through a lot of biases potentially too that they probably had to fight, So we kind of benefited from those guys that did that work before us, and now hopefully the current guys feel like we have contributed for them to have the life and the opportunity that they have. So that's what I like.
For you, is it weird, like as an American perspective, to go in the Hall of Fame with 3 Europeans? Like the year.
I'm the minority at this table.
Not because I watched the documentary, the Redeem Team, and congrats to that. It was an unbelievable documentary. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Pau, you was good with it?
I was great with it. I was so happy. That was
my favorite part.
I was one of the marketing tools in the documentary. I was like, I was the key. I was right there.
Yeah, you were important, bro.
I moved up.
But, in your perspective, and as as an American, and I know because of my dad is American, I know how proud Americans are to be the best, in basketball and to show that the best. Like, how do you feel like about European basketball the way it is now, and having a lot of top players there, Europeans? What you think and how you feel about that?
That's a great question.
Can you tell by the way he has a podcast too?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely, I can tell. 3 years too. 3 years around. He's a vet at this.
I'm a vet.
I've never thought of it in that way. I think it's just so amazing for the game. Mm-hmm. To look at it and say, obviously it's 12 of us, going into the Hall of Fame, but out of the guys in the NBA, the 3 of the 4 are international players. I mean, that just shows how amazing this game is, and for any kid in the world, it just it shows that what can be accomplished. Mm-hmm. I think we all play this game because we love it, but then at some point the baton got passed to us to make it bigger than us, right? To make it bigger than to make the game bigger, and you guys are making the game bigger. And so for me to be on this platform together, I'm honored, because, of how great y'all are. To me, it doesn't matter where you're from, where you played. We know the journey to be great. And so I never thought of it in that way. I'm just honored to be in the same breath as the greatness that's around this table. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Amen.
Seriously. So as athletes, we always are asked questions about our motivation. Right? Like, what's your motivation? And sometimes we our family is our motivation, and this is our motivation. Do you guys feel like throughout our journeys, do you feel like your motivation comes from the pain, like painful losses, or do your motivation come from joy? Like, where's your motivation source as an athlete? Where do it come from? Pau, I'll go with you first.
Okay. To me, it's really, kind of the challenge. The grind that it takes, trying to be exceptional, trying to do something special with our life.
Yeah.
Kind of take advantage of an opportunity that you've been kind of given, but then you had to work for and earn everything about it. So that's kind of where it comes from. Obviously, you want to utilize the pain, the struggle, the losses, the defeats, the shortcomings, the rejection, and all that. We can think of growing up as a kid and you're the lanky, tall kid, skinny kid that everybody kind of makes fun of and points out and stuff like that. And then that turned out into a freaking blessing and an advantage in my life, and not so much that, who's laughing now, but it's like, hey, it's like, it's life is good. And then you take advantage of that. And then obviously you revert to your family and you want to pass it along and you want to benefit your families and don't take stuff for granted, because everything can be gone quickly. So from that standpoint, you just try to embrace your journey and maximize it.
Yeah. Tony, you've been in the finals how many times? How many
5 times.
5 times, and you won 4. Did you pull motivation from the 4 wins, or did you pull motivation from the 1 loss?
A lot of people, they always ask me, what's your favorite championship? And I always say 2014. And they're like, not 2007 when you were MVP? I'm like, no, 2014 is my favorite because the way we lost against you guys. 2013, the way we lost when we were up 5 with 28 seconds. And I can see the rope. I can see the trophy coming and Pop is speaking. I don't even know what Pop was saying. I was already thinking about what I was going to do with that trophy and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know what he was saying. and the way that it happens so fast, with Ray Allen's shot, obviously, and then you won in Game 7. Man, that summer, it was so long that summer.
Yeah.
It was so long. And it's funny because that summer, I played with the national team every summer. And I was still chasing that gold medal because of this guy. Still didn't win a gold medal. And in 2013, after losing to you guys, I was like, it was really hard for me to get motivated and to go play for the national team. So I told the coach, like, I don't think I'm going to play this summer, And he was like, you sure? And blah, blah. And 48 hours after, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to be stronger than that mentally. Like, everything happens for a reason, Like, we can't, like, I can't, like, not go, And so I decided to go. And that year, we win the gold medal. and I was that close to not go. That summer to go win.
Something
that
you've been
gold medal.
chasing your whole life.
Exactly.
You were not.
And we
do
win
it.
that summer.
You
we
win that
won.
summer.
And then, so I arrived at training camp. I was so happy because I was a gold medal. I was happy. And I go back to the Spurs. They were still thinking about, our loss against you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start training camp. Pop, the first practice, we go to film. He puts the last 4 minutes of Game 6, the last 4 minutes of Game 7. So I was like, we're going through again the whole thing.
That's cool.
But me, I had so much energy that I built from the summer that I carried it the whole season, because I was like, we can't finish our career and people was going to remember us like we lost in 13, like we can't finish like that, And I think the character that we showed in 2014 and the way that we played is because of that loss that I think we played the best Spurs basketball, in my opinion, in my whole career. The way we moved the ball and the beautiful game and all that kind of stuff, it got created because of that. And so for me, like motivation, it can come from big losses or, like you said, your family. Like me growing up, we grew up with nothing. It definitely creates, motivation to when people say, "Oh, you're too small, you're too skinny, you will never make it." From France, you have to put it in perspective. Back then it was like not a lot of Europeans, so people were super negative, And so I used that as motivation to give my whole family a better life and try to make it.
Yeah, Dirk.
Well, I think at the beginning, it's just the love for the sport, the love for the game, and you're excited and working out, and then you come in the league and, you want to establish yourself. It's all fun. We had a fun style. Then you make your first All-Star game. So that all motivated me. And then it was, I got to say, the losses. I had to, once you establish yourself, there's really only one goal always. That was winning the championship. Once you have a few All-Star games, you've done all the individual stuff, the goal was every year to win the championship, and every year after year, we fall short. In 2006, we're this close, we fall short. And so then in 2007, which was even more frustrating to me, my MVP year, we win almost 70 games, and we lose in the first round. I was almost so embarrassed that I let my teammates down the city, and I didn't really feel like leaving my house. But at the end of the day, after these tough losses, after a few weeks, you're like, okay, what do I have to do? You look in the mirror, okay, I wasn't great in final stages or whatever. Now I got to get better. I got to work on my game. I got to add something for next year. I got to be a better closer. I got to do this. So to me, it was, but I didn't win 4. So I couldn't draw anything out of happy times. I had to draw motivation out of the frustration, out of the tough times. And so all these losses every year kind of helped me to always push me and work hard in the summer. Only take a few weeks off, then go back in the gym in Germany and go back in the lab and play German national team and eventually that worked out for me in 2011.
Did you always believe? Like, you had a time like you were not going to make it, win a championship in Dallas?
The Germans are more negative.
I felt bad for you in 2007.
Oh, yeah,
usually, you look at other teams, everybody's got their own problems. I felt bad for you.
Honestly,
I was watching the games and they were on fire going and say,
they were on.
That was crazy. It was crazy.
And Baron Davis made a buzzer beater from half court almost every game in that series. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. They were hot. I was like, but so in 2006 we had the tough loss. Then in 2007 we felt like we had the Spurs were always our big brother. You guys always beat us, and we finally got to figure out. Okay, we've beaten the Spurs a little bit. This is fun. I think that year I think we went 3-1 against you guys. So I'm like, we got this year. This is our year. We learned from 2006, and this is our year. And then we ran in the hottest team you can imagine, and they were a matchup nightmare for us. Obviously, we were tall, damp. We weren't the most, the quickest guys, and they would play Monte Ellis at the 5. I was like, what is happening here? Right? They were
like small ball,
running around with Nelly.
The beginning of small ball.
Yeah, very early.
Because Nelly was their coach, and he knew exactly how to play. Push me one way, when I spun, they were already already 3 guys swarming me. I couldn't even get my shots off, and they knew exactly how to beat us, and they were hot. And so that was one of the most frustrating losses of my career.
You never lost faith, though.
At the end of the day, the Germans, that's what I was going to say there. They're always a little negative. So I think it's normal to have some doubts, but, you work through it. There's no other option. You're frustrated for a couple of weeks, and then after a couple of weeks of not touching the ball and frustration, you get the tingling back and excitement, and okay, it's time to show the doubters you can do it. And I kept working at it.
And that's why you never know when it's going to come, because I didn't think you were going to win in 2011, and that's when you win.
Yeah, exactly. After 06, I'm like, I took 06 hard, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just entering my prime. We just made the finals. We had a great shot of winning it all. We're looking good against the Spurs matchup-wise. So I'm like, oh, we're going to be there for years to come now. We're good. And then 07 happens. Then 08 already started to go down. We make the trade for Jay Kidd. Next thing you know, we're barely making the playoffs. So you can never take it for granted. When you're on a good team that's winning, you just want to kind of put your ego to the side, because you never know. Within 1 year, everything can change. So look at the Mavs just the last few years. We went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, and last year we didn't even make the playoffs. So it's a wild ride, and you got to enjoy while you have a good team. But it's hard at times for sure.
I had another question, but let's stay in 2006.
Oh no. Here's where I gotta go.
I feel like we own it. Let's stay in 2006. We'll go to 11 later. Okay. Let's stay in 2006. When did you feel this series slipping away? Because you guys were up 2-0. Y'all were in control. You were up 13 in Game 3. When did you feel the series slipping away?
Yeah, in that moment, honestly, you guys stepped up the pressure there. Everything was a little harder. The denies, the defense stepped up, and I felt like we just never responded to that. And then when Game 3 slipped away, we're like, oh, we're good. And then we come Game 4, and we just completely get blown out. So that's when obviously the panic button was pushed, but. I don't think we had the experience. We had, the toughness at the time to really respond, honestly. And you guys, you played unbelievable, and you guys had great role players making shots. So that was super tough. But yeah, it was definitely there in Game 3. We had everything under control, and but you guys stepped it up, and we never found a way to stop the bleeding and respond, and we didn't have the experience for it, and that was a tough one, I gotta say.
How did you feel about me in 2006?
Well, there wasn't a lot of love there, I'd say. There wasn't a lot of love there. I think there were just things said on both sides that weren't appreciated. I think you took offense to, and I said we kind of gave them the championship, which I would have probably taken offense to, because you worked extremely hard. You played your butt off and carried them.
I came back swinging in the media.
Yeah, and then even weeks later, or maybe I said something at the training camp the following year, and I remember in the next year, and I'm already moved on, obviously. A reporter comes up to me and shoot around me like, hey, did you see what Dwyane said? And I was like, what? This is like months now later. He's like, yeah, you weren't the finisher, you weren't the leader. And I'm like, oh, wow, that came out of nowhere. So I didn't appreciate that, of course, but now almost 20 years later, I see where both sides were just not happy with how that whole thing went down. But honestly, I say this all the time. There can't always be friendships during the highest level of competition. It's just not how it works. I'm old school. I always wanted to win, but there was no love lost there at the beginning. And I remember in the 07, the All-Star game was in Vegas.
Yep.
And I think we were the only 2 All-Stars ever on record to not shake hands pregame. So there was definitely some cold times.
And mind you, we've never had a conversation to this point.
Exactly.
We've never talked.
No, we never talked about it.
And it shows you the power of the media. and how they came back to me and they said, well, Dirk said this. I was like, oh, really? Well,
watch this.
Well, watch this. And then Dirk said, and then Dwyane said this, and then now it goes. And now you don't even talk to each other. We're the biggest stage in our game, right? We're two of the best players in our game, and we don't even know how to just forget that, move on, and because we played each other at the highest, and that was a very intense,
and emotional
series. And then the after effect was a lot. So.
Yeah, I think that's part of the competition. As you guys, we've seen rivalries throughout the history of the game. With the Magic and Bird, where they hated each other, and and then they became friends later on, whatever it might be.
Larry Bird presented Magic Johnson to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. So it's part of the game. At the end of the day, we all want to win. And we hate losing, and there's tensions in the competition. At the heat of the moment. It's going to be you, it's going to be me. Yeah. And it's tough to kind of separate, okay, now we're all good. Let's go grab dinner, after I'm trying to, chop your head off, in the game. And then the media obviously does what they do. And then, and it's what it is. At the highest stages, even more. Yeah. So it's just part of the deal. But, that's the beauty also about this moment, all the competition is behind us
now,
right?
Yeah.
We can just share, we're just four happy fellas just enjoying,
about it.
Right? And then it's humbling.
It's good to be able to obviously even talk about it and, like you said, laugh about it and understand that that's a moment. And now we sit here at another moment where we all we attached forever, even though we already were. We played each other twice in the finals. Got one. Played each other twice. Got one. My brother Cole, etc. So it is good to be able to be in this moment and have these microphones and be able to tell our own story and talk about it our own way. So I'm going to stay on Dirk. So everybody, I'm passing these iPads around. Every guy will get one. It would be one picture. They will look at it themselves, and then I would ask them to show it to camera, and then we would talk about it. So Dirk, can you look at this? And then I swear I'm going to move on to the next person after this.
Yeah, okay. I remember this.
Can you show the cameras, please?
Yeah, so this is LeBron and my guy D Wade.
What are we doing?
Fake coffin in the 2011 finals.
How childish was that moment?
Yeah, I mean, actually, so I was sick for that game 4, and then I ended up not seeing this until after game 4. So I saw this before game 5, I believe. I didn't appreciate it. Okay. Political
can still sound.
I didn't like it. It's just. To me, it felt a little disrespectful. I felt like I've never had to fake an injury. I never had to fake an illness to show anything. I wanted. I didn't feel well that day. I had a little fever, and really that was it. So I thought it was childish, and I think
it was childish.
I think I said it at one of the press conference, but at the end of the day, that didn't add to the motivation. Honestly. I was at this point, we're game 5, we're 2 games away of reaching my dream, which were in 2006, we were 2 games away. So I really didn't want this to be a big distraction for me. And I think even Coach Carlisle addressed it. I said, listen, this video came out. We're not speaking about it as a team. We're going to stay into our business, and we're here to win 1 or 2 more games. We're not. This is not going to sidetrack us, and that's real. I felt it. So I went to the press conference. I said I didn't like it. I thought it was childish. But other than that, I think I kind of left it at that. I think some of the 2006 things sat deeper. That bothered me a little more. But now we can laugh about it.
Yeah. We didn't like you said. It was kind of one of those things that happen. You don't know what it's going to become. And I remember walking down the hallway, and we were coming out of shoot around. And I think at this point, we're up 2-1. We lost. You guys came back, that amazing comeback in Miami, game 2. But we came to Dallas and we won game 3. So now, in our minds, we in control of it. We supposed to be up 3-0. And so all the talk back to us is, well, Dirk is sick. Dirk hand is this. Dirk is this. So we like, Like, I think in a sense, like in the moment of being young and having one of those moments, it was like, oh, he's sick, and did like a fake cough, and boom, it went everywhere. You know what I mean? And then in our mind, we were tired of hearing about Dirk. We're up 2-0. Why y'all keep talking about him being sick or his hand is this or that? And so it became, I think, bigger. But then once you look at it, you're like, okay, that was a moment, a childish moment that was caught on camera.
Yeah.
That you wish you can grab that moment back. But at the same time, knowing it didn't have any bearings on the series. Yeah. Like, it wasn't going to make you a greater player. You were already great. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, I'm glad
all
we're
the people
talking.
never heard us talk about it, and there we go.
I'm glad this is all out. I'm liking it. We probably should have had these conversations a long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Oh, really?
On the other side.
I mean, no, really, no.
I was on vacation somewhere.
I did. Once
you're on your boat.
Once you're done with your season, for the most part, you're trying to disconnect. You don't want to watch that stuff. Where you wish you were, but you're not there.
You're somewhere else.
And especially for us in 11, where we just came from winning back-to-back and we lost to them and the conference semis and stuff. I wasn't going to watch you guys going at it where I wish my team was at the time, so I wasn't paying any attention to it at that point.
06, you don't remember how we lost? 06. Remember how we lost?
How?
We lost against the Mavericks, Game 7, at home. We up 3 with 10 seconds to go. We're supposed to play you guys in the finals. That's what I was thinking. Until Dirk goes to the basket. Manu fouls him. And Pop said 10 times in the timeout, don't foul anybody. If he goes, lay it up. We don't care. We have free throws.
Yes.
We were up 3. Doesn't matter. And Manu went to, I don't know why, he tried to block his shot. Goes to N1. And then we lose in overtime.
Wow, I do.
So I didn't see that because I was still mad.
Exactly.
I was still mad. I'm like, why Manu went to block Dirk? We don't care. Let Dirk dunk. We don't care.
Wow,
crazy.
But you're right. We all do get into our, we worry about ourselves. But I think for Dirk and I, and I'm thankful that on my podcast, on my first episode, we were able to have a conversation that. Like I said, me and Dirk didn't even have a lot of conversations until recently, because of what was portrayed through the media or what, actions. And so it's good to be able to have that conversation. So I appreciate it.
Great.
Nice.
Great.
Tony, I have a picture for you.
Okay.
All right, so we played each other in the finals in 2013 and 2014. We both got the best of each other. So when you look at this photo, tell me what was going through your mind at the moment when all these things was happening, because it happened so fast.
So in this picture,
so that's the Ray Allen shot in Game 6 in the corner, and Tony Parker closed out.
He closed out short.
He closed out short.
Okay, so like you said, it happened so fast that I came so fast to him that I was trying to not to foul him. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, Pop's going to kill me if I foul him. Because we were up 3.
Yeah.
So I try to do the best I can to contest one of the best shooters in our league. And he made a hell of a shot, going backwards. And every time I look at it, I'm like, man, how did he make that shot? How did he make Because I came fast on him, and he could have tried to be scared too, because I came so fast. I almost fouled him. And it was just one of the best shots in the NBA history. Yeah. And when you have to say in the U.S., they say good defense, better offense. But
that was better offense. Hey, look at your eyes. You see your eyes? What are you doing?
Please don't go in. Please don't go in.
You're begging, like, please don't. Please don't.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping so bad.
So just Ray Allen, and I don't know if you guys heard the story, but after practice, Ray Allen would always sit on his butt on the block, and he will backpedal to the three-point line. And this was a drill that he did. And so in this moment, the reason he was able to backpedal and get there and not worry about being out of bounds, getting his feet set without looking, was because he practiced it. He did it after practice every day.
Oh, wow.
And so it was amazing that everything happened, and it was Ray Allen. Because if it was me, that would have been a whole different shot. You know what I mean? And it was
you would have driven left.
Yeah. I'd have put a charge. I'd have charged you. I'd have came right at you. And so it's crazy that it was
So
Ray
you
Allen in that
practice that
on
shot?
off his butt,
go backwards.
get up, go backwards without, and to continue. It's repetition, right? He did it every day, and I heard he even did it in Boston. And so this is probably the only time he got a chance to take that shot.
That's crazy.
And
everything
It turned
happens
into a
for a reason.
championship. It turned into a
Everything
championship.
happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
No
Crazy.
doubt. So-
Crazy. Great story.
So as you guys will see and also hear, some of these conversations, they do go a bit long. And so we have to separate them within parts. Some go 1 hour, some go 3 hours. And so we have a part 1 and we also have a part 2. So we're going to cut it off right here on part 1. But part 2 will be out very soon. So please check your feed. It might already be there.